fight through ash and flame. We carve our name. At the top we claim the game. In the chaos we rise, unbroken and strong. A force unmatched where we belong. Through shadows and war, our glory unfolds. The guild of champions, our legend told. Stand tall, we reign supreme. Unstoppable, living the dream. With every clash, our power grows. Overlord, the world will know. We are Overlord, unstoppable might. Ruling the skies, owning the fight. We are Overlord, destined to reign. Through every battle we conquer again. No mercy shown, no ground we yield. Our banner flies on every field. At the peak, our victory sealed. Overlord. Overlord. Enemies tremble, the fate is clear. Overlord strikes and the end is near. Relentlessly march, no challenge too great. Masters of conquest, we dominate. Unite, we forge the flame. Burning bright, eternal fame. Through every storm, through every foe. Overlord, the legends grow. We are Overlord, unstoppable might. Ruling the skies, owning the fight. We are Overlord, destined to reign. Through every battle we conquer again. No mercy shown, no ground we yield. Our banner flies on every field. At the peak, our victory sealed. Overlord. Through blood and steel, we carve the way. The kings and queens of every fray. No defeat, no step too far. We rise and shine, the brightest star. We are Overlord, unstoppable might. Ruling the skies, owning the fight. We are Overlord, destined to reign. Through every battle we conquer again. No mercy shown, no ground we yield. Our banner flies on every field. At the peak, our victory sealed. Overlord. Forever we stand, forever we reign. Overlord.
Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Overlord Podcast. My name is Anubis, where we try to make everyone feel a little bit more OP. I am joined today by my co-hosts Goalid and Spud. Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. My name is Spud, or otherwise known as Spud Named Spud on YouTube and Twitch. I currently play a cleric in Ashes of Creation, but have experience playing a tank and a fighter as well.
And I'm Goalid. Hope everybody's doing great tonight. I'm a mage for our guild and I guess old timer of the guild since pre-Alpha 1, so I've been playing a lot of Ashes a long time, doing forums, podcasts, everything I do to fulfill my Ashes obsession.
Okay, volume a little low, huh? How about here? I got some first time chatters. All right. Okay, am I a little bit louder? We'll make sure we get all the levels right. Because many things that we're trying to do behind the scenes all at the same time. But anyway, we want to thank everybody for joining us today. We've got a lot of fun topics to talk about. We're going to be going over some leveling talk to try to see how everybody feels right now about how leveling is in Ashes. And we're going to talk about the Befallen Forge that I have yet to get into. I want to, but it's it's been really freaking hectic. Yeah, we're going to start talking about how the Befallen Forge and Carfen Tower layout is a little different and why it is considered a pocket dungeon. And we're going to be talking about the state of world PvP, current state of like classes, like class feel, going over a little bit of rogue info that we've been just a tad bit behind on, and some caravan changes and some streamer drama. Ooh.
Spicy stuff.
Right? There's been a lot of stuff happening over these holidays. Like, I was surprised that to even hear that Narc just said deuces.
Yeah. You can get into that towards that's one of the later topics, I think.
Yeah.
Of course,
yeah,
the juiciest. You gotta save, you gotta get your appetizers first.
Yeah, daggum right. All right, well, let's just jump right into it. How did leveling feel to y'all? Like, for my own experience, I'm main a ranger, so like that's literally been my entire life during the alpha phases, like 1 and 2. So mine was like pretty raffle stomp. Like how was y'all's?
Mine was pretty hectic. Like every single camp we went to was like highly contested. There were a few farming spots that we found that were like not really known about at the time that we grinded a lot of XP at. But yeah, there was a lot of times when we were just like being bounced grinding spot to find mobs that weren't being contested.
Mm.
My experience was that we had a nice questing route figured out. It did take a while, actually, just because everything was so contested. But we found the proper grind spots to level. It's just been hectic because this was the holiday season that they gloriously decided to open the phase 2 in. So there are, everybody has commitments to family and stuff. So it's just trying to manage that while trying to maintain hardcore hours. That's been pretty tough for me.
Oh yeah, likewise. Like even with our group, we were planning on going hard the first 3 days, and it seemed like the second day I just had literally everything popping up left and right. But we're getting there still. I still haven't yet like reached 25, but there's nothing really too new about it outside of maybe a couple fixes to the class, but leveling wise, they were churning and burning. Like we had a route. We had some fun contesting some people in Highwayman Hills for some mobs, trying to out damage the mob trainers, so to speak. So that was kind of ours. So what was kind of like the most difficult part about it? Like, what I'm trying to say is like, how did it feel going through the leveling process again in comparison to like the first one? Because the first one we didn't know hardly anything about outside of like PTR, but trying to navigate the new routes that we had planned, along with like the bounty quest, like that was originally in Lionhold that they got rid of completely now. Like how much of that do you feel was in a decent direction? Like what was some of the difficult parts about going through that? We can start with Goalid on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you're constantly contesting people, and then trying to do things the right way. I remember one time we were just telling people in Cephalion, "Hey, we're gonna we can contest these mobs and stuff." People being upset about that because they thought they could, they were there first and stuff like that. But the entire point of the game right now is to contest each other for mobs through DPS, through PvP. And I'm more than happy to flag. I'm not willing to go corrupt. I don't think most people are willing to go corrupt. So it's just kind of hard to have so many people. That is, I think, a little over half of a server's worth of people on launch who are supposed to be active at the time in a very tiny part of the map. So this is something that will be alleviated as they expand the map. I even wonder if they're going to increase the server population size, because it seems like they can fit larger populations within these smaller areas. So why not? Basically, is my thoughts on it. So I would just say the most difficult part is that there's not a great. I don't believe that this testing environment was able to sustain this many people, and I'm sure a lot of people outside of the hardcore players did have quit the game because of that for the time being until we get some new information on Rogue, or they expand the deserts out a little more, flesh them out a little more.
Mm-hmm. Spud, how you feel about it?
I think the hardest part of my launch experience was essentially making it into the game in the first place. There were like so many delays at the start, and then like when they did bring it online, they crashed and like didn't come up for like another 10 minutes. So you had like a bunch of people in groups that were in the game and some that weren't.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Uh, But yeah, the first few levels were really a drag, especially like through level 10, because there's such few grinding spots and so many people were at every single one. When after we hit level 10, we did the front gates of Carfin, which made things a little bit better, so to speak. There weren't as many people contesting us, especially at Carfin, and we ended up moving on to Remnants of Cephalion and Steel Bloom, like later on, to go from around 15 to 20. Uh, Remnants of Cephalion was really, really crowded. We found a spot in Steel Bloom, though, that there was like no one at, and we were getting really good XP rates there. But yeah, pretty much did that up till level 20. And then as soon as I hit level 20, started doing Steel Bloom's basement, started doing Carfin Tower and like running caravans and PvPing and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. About what was it? Christmas was Tuesday, right? It was on a Tuesday or was it a Wednesday?
It was a
Christmas Day was
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah,
Wednesday.
Christmas
Yeah,
Eve was Tuesday.
Did y'all make it to 25 by then? I actually don't
No.
even know what level y'all got to, which is crazy. I don't even know everything.
I'm just level 20. I hit 20, and I've been focused on a lot of crafting.
yeah. As soon as
Stuff like that.
I hit around like 21/22, I mostly just focused on economy, crafting, or not crafting, but gathering. I leveled 3 different gathering professions, and I've been doing a lot of caravanning to generate gold as well.
You're most
Yeah.
important, And then now my downtime is spent on leveling. And it's just, go do a leveling thing right after I'm done all my farms of multiple materials.
Would like we essentially advertise ourselves as a hardcore guild. Did it feel like we were rushed? And oh, look, there it goes. Friggin' thing about being rushed. Did it feel like you were rushed at all, or did it feel like we were just rushing through it to get to a certain level and then it just got really chill? Or is that just me?
I felt rushed just because I want to keep up with the guild, basically. Um, so I mean, yeah, we're a hardcore
Yeah.
guild.
Yeah, I felt the need, like the urge to keep up, but then at the same time, because I know what, like here in either a couple weeks or to a month, we're gonna be looking at a rogue pretty soon. A lot of people are they're planning on re-rolling to rogue, so there's definitely gonna be an influx of those, but like
Mhm.
I didn't feel like the sense of urgency to get to 25 knowing that with level 25 gear, I mean with level 20 gear, it didn't matter if you were level 20 or level 25, it kind of felt around the same, at least to me, skill wise. I mean, skill points were great to have and the extra HP was great to have, but um I didn't feel as though my power difference was like any kind of big deal between 20 to 25. So I slowed down and I actually started doing crafting stuff, like gathering stuff. Finally made to level 8 hunter. But anyway, uh with that
Yeah.
being said, to like some of the grind spots we ended up looking like they were going to be strong this iteration was still going to be Carfin Tower. Like everybody is like as soon as they hit what 18, we were just piling in Carfin Tower and we started contesting people for mobs and all that good stuff. But in comparison to Befallen Forge, I'm not seeing that a lot of us are actually hopping in there. How do you guys, or have you had any experience with Befallen Forge yet?
I know there's some pretty decent drops that some people got off the mini bosses in there, but I haven't heard anything on like gear sets that are like best for certain classes or really any reason to farm there like all day long. There are definitely some things worthwhile going there for that I heard about.
Uh oh. I just realized I forgot to add your frames to the other box. Wonderful. Okay. Um that's funny. Okay, so I had a frame here for us to kind of look at some screenshots of a Fallen Forge that I had got, but completely forgot to add your frames over there. Anyway, we're just gonna have to do it right here.
Yeah.
Uh, what
For
the
the
hell was I talking
forge, like, yeah, this I've poured through the codex on some of the items, and they are pretty good. For my purposes as a jeweler trying to gear out our guild with jewelry, it is not that important to me. So I've been focused on other gear sets right now. I'm at level 10, go on to level 20. Um, I definitely want to explore the Befallen Forge. I just have not found the need to do so versus caravans and a bunch of other crafting activities seem to increase our player power far more than the forge. So it's not a huge thing for me right now, personally.
about? How does gear feel to you right now, Spud?
Gear in general?
Yeah. Well, what you got? Like level 20 gear. In,
Yeah, I'm in mostly Blue Morden gear. I'm missing two pieces of it so far, but the power spike from level 20 gear is way larger than leveling up itself. I felt as soon as I got like level 20 gear, my healing power was over 200. Like full recharged deliverances as a cleric would heal tanks for nearly their entire HP bars, so that definitely felt pretty good.
or until you get the healing bug in Carfin, and then you kill him for just about that much.
Yeah, I actually one shot myself today doing that, trying to farm a boss
Oh
that we're
no.
trying to collect items from. Yeah. There was a level 15 zombie that put the debuff on me, and I didn't see it, so I one-shot myself with a fully charged heal.
Mm. For those who don't know, there is a bug in Carfin from the zombies. The zombies will spit like in an arc, like a puddle of, I don't know, just poison. And that poison gives you a debuff. Once you have that debuff, it any healing that you take, instead of it healing you or being reduced damage, or not reduced damage, reducing healing, just damages you for the full amount. Do we actually like that? Now that I'm actually saying it out loud, I mean, it sucks because we didn't know about it, but that sounds like a pretty cool mechanic. Like it forces you to use things like purify to get it off first before you do something like that. But then there's definitely a lot of people who do not like it whatsoever. Like it kills, especially if you're not paying attention to your bar.
Well, they have to have better ways to let people know what debuffs they have. There should be more visual clarity given to us, because this is going to be a major problem for the game, because without that visual clarity, you're just frustrating a lot of people. And I don't like the idea of just constantly looking at my bar for debuffs and stuff.
Mm.
I want to feel feel the impact on my character in game without just looking at my bar, like away from everything else in the fight, to learn I've got a super major debuff that's gonna kill me. I mean, we
Yeah.
can do that, like, but I mean, I don't think that's a great design. It is a bug, right? So it's not intentional, I don't think.
No, it's
It's
definitely not intentional.
really long-standing and like pretty big bug. It makes farming Carfin really annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the amount of times that I nearly or did kill my tank uh in the front gates of Carfin. It doesn't feel good any of the times.
Nope. Not at
It's hard
all.
to see the debuff as well because the normal party frames doesn't always show it on people.
Hmm.
Like you don't see the debuff until you like click on their unit frame.
Oh yeah, that's right. You are running a cleric right now, so
Yep.
you have to deal with it the most. Man.
Yeah. There's a thing right now where if you heal someone who's like out of party or whatever, and they have the poison debuff and your heal kills them, you will also go corrupted. I've seen that happen to a few people by Carfin Tower.
Yeah, I have too. I definitely have. We've actually thought that they had killed him on purpose, and then we killed a corrupt person, and then we went corrupt for killing the corrupt person. Or no, we got flagged for killing a corrupt person, and then their group just went on us, and then that's been causing so many misunderstandings and stuff. People have lost so much, like so many different
Hmm.
things.
I
People have lost Santa hats. Yep, Mavian. I've lost mine too, so don't feel bad.
I so two times one of our guildmates got corrupted from the bug, and I had to help them recover their gear after they die. And one time I saw someone running out of Carfin who was corrupted, and of course I killed him and took his gear, but I later found out that it was also from the bug. So I ended up just giving uh, the guy all of his gear back. But yeah, one of the times, funnily enough, that I helped one of my guildmates recover his gear. The exact pieces that dropped were exact pieces that I needed, so you know it was kind of a little tempting to take it, but you know maybe next time.
Goalid, have you had to deal with the bug too?
No, not at all. I'm a mage. Y'all can deal with that. I
Oh,
haven't
what do
had
you
any
mean,
problems
dude?
with it.
I'm a ranger and have to deal with it because I'm constantly having to tell people, no, 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 don't heal me yet until you get that off.
No, no, no.
Otherwise, they
You
just insta kill me.
just stay away. Stay away from them.
Or what's that cleric heal over time that turns into a friggin' dot?
Soothing Glow.
Yeah, that thing. That thing hurts.
It stacks as well
That thing hurts.
when you
Like,
have the poison debuff.
mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's the most annoying part of it because I'd always keep stacks of Soothing Glow going on the tank. And if he got the poison debuff, like I can't do anything about that except for just purifying the debuff right away. That was mostly the number one way to solve the issue, is just trying to purify everyone as fast as possible so I could heal them again.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, my Soothing Glow is just going to kill them if they have it.
Oh
'Cause,
man.
yeah, Soothing Glow is really powerful too. Like that thing heals for quite a bit.
Yeah, once you actually get the gear, right? Otherwise it's
Yeah,
just like healing. All right.
clerics feel honestly like even just like a little too powerful at sometimes. I mean, they need to make it good because there's so many one-shot mechanics with tanks and like mechanics that will get the tank like really, really low, like really fast. Like 2/3 of their HP could be gone within a split second.
mm,
Um, so they kind of had to incorporate some heals into the game that would do quite a bit of healing. But as a result, sometimes I feel like some of my healing is a little too overpowered. Like maybe I shouldn't be able to heal 3,000 HP in a single cast, but
You think you shouldn't be able to do that?
well, I mean, yeah, it doesn't really seem that balanced, but at the same time, like if we weren't able to heal that much, things like the complexity of Carfin Tower, along with like all the bugs and things that it has to offer, would definitely be a lot more of a challenge.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be more of a challenge. But they just need to take a holistic approach, like they've said they're trying to do. They have to think about PvP too, because in PvP, you clerics, man, you're strong. You're very strong. And as a DPS player, I want to be able to kill clerics every now and again, um, especially in 1v1. But that's doesn't look like it's gonna be happening. Um,
Yeah,
but
we're pretty OP in 1v1s. They can also last a very long time if we're going against another healer. One
oh
time
yeah,
I had a 1v1 with another cleric. It lasted about 20 minutes, and then we both agreed just to go along with our days because it was non-conclusive. We both just ended up running out of mana, then just like both were regenning mana. And none of us were doing any real damage to each other because we were both just healing ourselves right away.
yep.
man. I haven't had any problems out of clerics yet. I don't think a whole lot of people have went as hard as we have trying to get those levels and get that gear at the same time. So I haven't really had any issues outside of our guild with clerics. Uh, like as soon as I get the snipe off and they're not paying attention to me, they're dead. I don't have to worry about that. But mages, on the other hand, have always been a pain in my rear. But from what I'm hearing out of our guild's mages, that they kind of are falling behind a little bit in certain aspects. How do you feel about that, Goalid? As our resident mage main.
I feel strong as hell with my sleep and the amount of damage I can output um, with some of the rotations. I still feel pretty strong. Um, I wish I had a better interrupt um, than sleep to use as an interrupt. We used to in pre-alpha 2 we had a trip from Quake that you could do. Um, but I don't know. I feel like Mage is in a great place. We just PvP'd yesterday, and I felt like I was doing some great damage on tanks and other people, and I don't even have that high magic power compared to the rest of the guild right now. I'm still doing pretty well, so I don't have too many complaints on balance for mage right now.
I feel like Mage can do some pretty insane DPS in PvP scenarios.
It's kind of, from what I've been hearing, it's revolving a lot around shocked. But
Yeah, it's revolving a lot around the CCs, but there's been a lot of times
mm,
when I've seen their CCs be hit on 5 people at once, and then just like bang, all lightning, all their AoE, and they just wiped like 5 people.
oof. I hear tell they're supposed to be bringing about back, blah, 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 bringing back the earth like elements for mage pretty soon.
Really?
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about, or at least from Rue. We've been hearing a lot about that, or he's at least waiting on it, but it's in the works. I can't remember where I had seen it. I read it somewhere, but can't remember where exactly things are.
We're all excited for it. It was pretty nice, but I don't see it. It's also interesting because they did physical damage, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what we're going with that, but you might see some physical damage mages in the future potentially with these augment systems. We'll see.
Mm. Mage in full plate armor.
100%.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
I mean, already the medium armor set that they have from Steel Bloom is pretty decent for not making them the squishiest people ever.
Mm. Have y'all been testing the difference from the Steel Bloom and Carfin gear sets? Like, I think the Carfin one I know is light armor, but
Yeah, the
uh,
Cognoscente.
yeah, that one,
Yeah,
and
that
then the
that
Steel
set has a
Bloom.
lot of intellect on it.
Have you
Yeah,
been? Yeah, go ahead.
no, I haven't really been testing the difference, but when you look at it, you really have to mix and match these sets to get the best out of them. Um, I think too many people focus on one or the other, unfortunately, which really makes them squishy, a little too squishy for my taste.
Hmm. I know I've wanted to play around with uh playing like heavy, like putting on fighter gear as a ranger to, because like our stats with fighter stats are pretty much the same thing right now. There's no real distinct differences. Like we literally want the same thing. I want to play around with that to see if that's even worth it. But then again, I already don't like mages because if I use my CC break, I'm kind of done. As soon as I use my CC break, if I get CC'd, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh,
You have to
and they,
outrange us.
I
well,
feel the same way about
kinda. Not anymore though, because they finally fixed uh, uh
Your
our
silence.
silence. Yes, they fixed our silence. So silence now is activated by dazed as soon as we use our lightning shot, thundering shot. I think it's thundering shot.
I still
Yeah.
got my auto attacks, man. Can't keep me down.
Oh man, there's so many ways a ranger can apply different things and keep it up at any given time or point in time. We can silence you. I think what silence lasts 5 seconds long. How long does silence last just by itself? Somebody in the chat, help me out. How long does silence last? Either way, I'm able to at least silence mages twice now. So 4 seconds. So that's an 8 second silence. So as soon as I get CC'd, I silence you for 8 seconds. I can go through my whole rotation and get a snipe off without having to worry about anything.
That's
So,
how I felt about playing a fighter. Is there's a build that you can run with Form of Clarity to where you can just trip them like pretty much every 10 seconds. And the trip
mm,
lasts for 3 seconds each time. And you can just blast so much DPS in between those.
Oh man, tanks and trips, dude. Oh, I take it back. Mages aren't my bane. Tanks are my bane. I cannot fight a tank to save my life. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
I 1v2 to the tank and someone else at the end of last phase, but I had some pretty good gear back then.
you were a tank last phase?
No. I killed some tank during the Jova War 1v2. The end of last phase. Like, you can get some great damage as mage, and a lot of, like I said, a lot of people are built in all heavy or all wrong, and you can attack them.
Well,
They're
let
pretty
me
big damage
especially,
as a mage.
let me rephrase then. I don't like our tanks because I can't ever beat our tanks. That's
Well,
the
that's
thing.
good.
I can beat everybody else's except for whenever, Papa Steven decides to shine down upon the other. Never mind, that's irrelevant.
You
Did
gotta
you
work on your penetration.
did you not enjoy our 1v1s last phase, Anubis?
No, not at all. No, not at all. I don't like the fact that your what is it? Your chain, what is that chain called?
The grip?
Yes. I
I'm
don't
not
like
sure what the ability is even called, to be honest.
whatever the tank life grip thing is. I don't like that I get stuck to your body and I can't get off of it. That is painful to
Oh,
me.
that
I
bug is
want to kite
hilarious.
you. I want to kite you to death. I don't want to be that close. It scares me every time. But anyway, we gotta get back on subject. So Carfin Tower is classified as a grand dungeon, and the Befallen Forge is classified as a pocket dungeon, I believe. I think it was stated in the Alpha 2 thing. Hold on. I'm pretty sure I'm able to pull it up somewhere. Okay, we're going to try this. Because I have to do stuff and add stuff. Uh-oh. I have to do stuff. There is some things that I have over here. Here it is. I just have to add you guys to this freaking chat. That's all. But yeah, the Befallen Forge was classified as a pocket dungeon, and it was, oh my Jesus, live editing. It was just released. Was it on launch? I believe it was released on launch.
Yeah, it was released on launch. It was also available in the testing they did right before the release of Phase 2.
Live editing. Boom. Excuse the production because I completely forgot to add that part in. But oh, okay, that's a little better. Oh, I forgot your names. Dang it. Anyway,
Forgot my name?
yeah, I forgot both of y'all's names apparently.
The phrasing on that is just magical.
um,
I hit
I'm
my head and
Goalid.
no longer
Nice to meet
know
you.
who you are.
Yeah.
I'm Bud named Spud.
okay, this was my question because I completely forgot my train of thought because I was multitasking. What do you guys feel constitutes a pocket dungeon? Because I've heard that word through a couple different streams, and I read it up on the wiki as well. But I had the hardest time trying to figure out what a pocket dungeon actually is. Like a grand dungeon, yeah, something like Carfin Tower, where there's literally levels to the stuff. and Befallen Forge, where it looks like the deeper you go, it gets to a stopping point and everything is just there on that floor. At least from what I was seeing through the PTR, because that was the last time I had been in it. None of the textures was in. They had a lot of different mobs there, but um, it didn't seem like it was as vast as Carfin Tower was.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. Carfin is meant to be a grand dungeon. It's meant to be one of the most important dungeons in the game that you're always working towards leveling as a nearby node, essentially. And has major story arcs, and it's going to be important from presumably from like about level 10 to level 50. So Carfin's just going to evolve as our nodes evolve. Um, I'm assuming the Befallen Forge is just less important in terms of the story. Um, is what the point of difference that Intrepid's doing, because they can't have um, like 50 grand dungeons in the game, but they can have like 10 grand dungeons, or I think it's something like 5 or 8 grand dungeons, and then a bunch of pocket dungeons like that that are pretty cool. They've got plenty of thought into them, but are not um, as crucial to the main storylines and story arcs in the game.
What do
Part
you
of
think?
the main story arcs is that, we're going to complete quests, and during these quests we're going to have to make choices, and they're going to essentially do popular vote for people who complete these quests and say what do you decide. So that might be another way that they're different. They're doing that for Carfin, but they're not going to do that for the Befallen Forge.
Mm, true, true. Do you feel like that one is Befallen Forge is the only uh pocket dungeon, or do you think there's others out there that would classify as a pocket dungeon?
Cephalion. Um,
I feel like Oakenbane Keep is very pocket dungeony, but it's a bit smaller scope than Befallen Forge.
yeah.
Hmm. Because I think there's an argument there that pocket dungeons are, along with the grand dungeons, are the ones that, like, as the node advances, the mobs kind of they get either harder or there's more of them, or it dynamically changes at night to day, things like that. But then there's some like um was it in comparison to Highwayman Hills and Oakenbane? There's just a lot more 2 and 3 stars in Highwayman Hills versus different types of 3 stars in the POIs for Oakenbane. I felt like I rambled all the hell right there.
No, you're fine.
So I did notice Oakenbane Keep was leveling up with the node, but I was kind of curious as to like how that all works because I noticed Carfin wasn't at all. Like Carfin was in the same state that it always was. Only difference was that
Uh oh.
over time or something like that. But
Precisely. That's what it is. I think that it opens up more as we level it. The Grand
mhm.
Dungeon.
I wonder how they're gonna be. Like, we were supposed to get level 4 nodes at the start of A2, or if A2 phase 2. So I wonder how they're going to advance farther than that. Like, is everything in those areas going to be like way higher level?
I don't know if they said it would be at the start, um, but I do know that is on everybody's mind. How are they going to do that? Are they going to de-level everything? Are they going to choose which nodes are level 4? How's it going to happen? So that'll be
Mm.
interesting. I almost feel like the I just don't understand how they're going to get data on node leveling if they don't eventually wipe again, which is going to annoy a lot of people. So I don't think they will do that, or at least not do it for a long time. But um, yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting the choices they make because I don't think there's a one that solves all issues people would have with it.
Hmm. Like, I was excited to kind of see the system behind the vassaling, or at least watching that play out. But I think, what was it? We had the node, at least at the beginning. I believe we were leveling Miraleth. We got to about like 60%, and then the announcement was, hey, we're gonna level all the nodes, and it's like, okay, so now everybody's gonna be a level 3 node. And then they turned off the level 4 thing because we were under the impression that at the beginning the node vassalship system, or whatever, however it's called, was supposed to go through, and we were literally fighting to get to the top versus what was it, Winstead.
Hmm.
And they got rid of it, or they stopped something.
Yeah, we originally thought at the start of the phase that a node reaching village would potentially lock other adjacent nodes from leveling up, which would be pretty brutal given that there's only so many nodes right now, right? Like you got the
Hmm.
3 in the desert, and then you got the 5 original ones from phase 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I so if you read the wiki very closely, you know the game very well because you're obsessed. Technically, level 2 nodes are supposed to start locking out level 1 nodes too, or other adjacent nodes when it even starts. Um, so there's a lot of stuff they don't have implemented in the game that's also very confusing. But I was I think a lot of people thought there might be vassalization in the game that might be going to level 4, and they might have more building slots at level 4, but not any of the other level 4 town level node features in the game. But it's just
Mhm.
not implemented right now. So you just have 8 level 3 nodes on both servers right now, and there's a lot of node dynamics we're gonna get to see in the coming months, maybe weeks, depending on what they're gonna show us from return from the holidays.
Yeah, they've been out for like, what was it? How long has it been? Has it been 2 weeks yet? The week of Christmas, they were
It'll
on
be
break, but they were still messing with a few things. But
it'll be 2 weeks in about an hour in terms of
oh
days
snap!
anyway.
Oh yeah, you guys are Eastern. It's like two
I'm
hours for me.
currently Mountain Standard Time at the moment.
Oh,
Yep, I live in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of nowhere, so
has it got cold yet?
it got cold a while ago. Like it started snowing in September. It snowed like a solid 5 feet this month, I believe. It's been like severe blizzards all day, every day for the past week, and like
Hmm.
high winds. So it's been pretty rough outside. I need to regularly unbury my car because I park in the driveway. Um, and yeah, all-wheel drive is a lifesaver, especially in Jeeps. I would not be able to leave my house without it here.
Well, speaking of snow, we have yet to see any snow in game during this phase, right? Or has it mainly been the last phase?
Yeah, I haven't
Like,
really seen a lot of changes with the season, and I haven't really noticed it until now when you mention it.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they turned off seasons. That's kind of why I brought the weather
Mhm.
in. I know you were in a colder area, but
Yeah, I remember
yeah.
in phase 1, like there were times when it was snowing in Carthan, and the entire zone looked totally different.
Fall is
Mhm.
definitely the best season, most beautiful one I think right now in the Riverlands. Maybe they're prepping some seasonal stuff. That'd be
I
pretty
mean, I
cool.
feel like fall is just the most beautiful season, most places in general.
Hmm.
Really? I'm hoping it's not the seasonal stuff because we have during the last phase we went through all those seasons and they all look absolutely gorgeous. But what I've been looking forward to is like the POI zone of influence changes that you remember the Carfin Tower showcase that they gave us, how that like the red fog mist has been like all around the surrounding areas and infecting the wildlife and plants. That's what I've been looking for.
I've been looking forward to season specific resources. Um,
Mm.
I think that has plenty of potential for market gameplay, um, and will freshen things up a lot each season, keep things interesting.
Especially if the things you can craft with those seasonal resources are best in slot, because that would just make the materials so expensive.
Oh yeah. Well, people hoard it is what they do, but it's about trying to min max that. Um, Because oh, there's only winter items, then people will say, "Oh, I'll just hoard everything and I'll sell it in summer and I'll make a lot of money. 'Cause that's when it'll be highest in price." But other people will take that into consideration, so it's like there's a lot of market data and trying to do your best, basically.
Right. So, um, as you guys know, I mean, like we were talking about the leveling and stuff like that. With leveling comes competition, and I felt like with us talking about that in the beginning, I would come up with a little game for you guys. Falling for this
Great.
game is called Is It Training?
Jeez, I'm excited.
All right, so essentially the rules of the game. You guys like that? Yeah, I found that.
Yeah, it's
Essentially,
training. 100%. You're training on your own group there.
The best is when someone pulls an ocular.
oh my gosh, no. Yeah,
I've never
it's
seen more people get deleted faster. Like one cast just kills 8 people instantly.
Oh my god.
so the rules of this game um is to literally say the first thing that comes to mind, but you must answer if it is training or not training. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
All right. Dragging mobs onto contesting parties in an open world dungeon.
That's training.
Yeah, training. 100%.
Had to give you a freebie.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
right.
that's literally the
Is that the
definition of training.
definition? Yeah.
Had to give you a freebie. But all right. You guys got that one pretty easy. So we're 1-1 right now. Um next one, auto running a mob or auto running mobs to aggro onto nearby players.
Training.
Training, but auto running the mob, like what? You're just auto running the mobs accidentally get
You're
on
just
you or something?
Yeah, you're
You're
just
just auto
training, but
running. See, I gotta word it to make it a little tricky.
yeah, you're training mobs, but you're just auto running instead of using your mouths or movement keys. So
Well, I feel like training is like a crime almost. Like my definition of training is unintentional, or it is intentional for it to be training. So I said training at first. I don't know. Maybe they're just a noob. Sometimes you have to kill that noob to let him know the punishment. But
yeah, you gotta put them in his place real quick.
yeah,
All right. Well, if you're auto running, like here's my answer on this. If you're auto running, and you're not paying attention to where you're going and you're dragging things onto other people, that's still training.
It matters if it's intentional or not, which is what Draco's saying in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in my case, it's always with malicious intent. So like if
Mm.
someone's just accidentally aggroes a mob and it like pulls onto someone else like while they're just running through a patch of people, that's not really mob training, because your intent wasn't malicious to like wipe him or anything like that. You were just trying to get through the area.
Gotcha. All right. Here's one that might be a pretty easy one. Standing on a player while a zombie attacks you.
I don't know
How
if
do we get
that's
there?
training, because training, in my opinion, has to do with the aggro of the mob coming from you and leaving you onto the other person. Putting poison down, or getting it put down by another mob, it still has malicious intent because you're standing over the other person, but the aggro isn't leaving you. So I feel like it's almost something else. I wouldn't call it mob training, but it definitely is a form of griefing and is basically around the same level.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I want to say not trained. I want to say you can't stand in poison. If you stand in poison, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for it.
Hmm.
I mean, what
Um,
if you're AFK? You're AFK, we're about to go into Carfin,
well,
somebody
that's different. Then you try
tags a
train.
mob.
I've definitely seen some people do that before, like just purposely set poison on top of a unsuspecting healer of another group.
I, here's the reason I'm being difficult here, because I think that if you're in hard areas of the game, and you're in these areas where you're fighting each other, there's an element of player versus environment. Like you're trying to fight players while also trying to do mechanics. I've seen plenty of PvP fights on YouTube of people fighting in the desert and they're aggroing beetles, and they're trying to fight each other while dealing with the beetles at the same time. So I think that it depends on where you're at. Like if you're a town or whatever, and you're and you train like an ocular onto somebody, and they kill them with a glare or whatever. Yeah, I think that's definitely training. If you're in the middle of Carfin and you're AFKing there, um, and like you're actively contesting stuff, I feel like it has to be different. I feel like we have to view the game different than just a um like a super like some of these areas is like super chill, not high octane areas.
Mm.
It's my controversial take.
I clicked off by accident. Okay. My opinion. If you're AFK and you're in a spot where you can get trained, it normally would be common courtesy to not kill somebody to do it. I do feel like that is actually a form of griefing and not training. Unless they actually, are death running. But how about this? Running mobs through town on a mount.
Through a town?
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely not mob training because the guards are just gonna kill it. Like, who in that case would you be trying to train the mobs on?
Well, there have been times where the AI in the city they get kind of wonky and they don't kill the mob, and the mob still kills somebody.
Yeah, 100%. I've seen plenty of streamers like on Twitch like pulling like Firebrand into like Winstead or whatever, and be like lol, and I'm just like, man, I can't imagine if I lost some mats or something while banking because some streamer wanted the lulls on his channel. He's like
Well,
profiting
yeah.
off my misery. I can't
If
even
they
imagine it.
if they
Be so
intentionally
livid.
did it, with the intent to like kill people, like it's definitely training. But like if they just pulled some mobs outside of town and they're just like, oh, they'll aggro off or the guards will kill them. Like I feel like that's different. So kind of the context kind of matters.
Yeah.
Context is you're on a mount, you're running into town, mobs follow you, and they start killing people.
Yeah,
I
it doesn't
mean,
sound very intentional unless you're like
yeah,
pulling
no.
Firebrand into town or something. Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
pulling firebrand in town is 1000% training.
Nah,
oh, that would
you
also
probably
be hilarious.
people bots back in the day.
Oh, he broke in and out there for a second.
Oh no.
Oh, what were you saying? I had missed it.
I was just saying that people did it plenty of times with the Kumats back in the day, even
Mm.
unintentionally, because the aggro the mobs just would not leash. They still don't refuse to leash sometimes, but it's not nearly as bad as it used to be.
Mm. So we all agree that that technically isn't mob training then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next one. Pulling one too many mobs and running by another group.
I've done that before. That's entirely accidental. That's not mob training.
Yeah, no.
Have had scenarios when we were in the fourth floor of Carfin, phase one, and the mobs had like insane leash distances. When we bailed on like a pole and we jumped out the window and like ran all the way to Carfin docks, and there was another group leveling by Carfin docks, and the mobs ended up aggroing onto them and killing them all. That was definitely unintentional, pretty bad. But we didn't realize that the mobs would run all the way from the fourth floor of Carfin Tower down to like the docks, which is like very long distance away.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. I've been trying to coin that the death run because you're either trying to avoid a full party wipe or just running for your life. Just like this picture I have hold
Mhm.
up here. As soon as you pull those 3 fire starters, it's just an instant run. You
The
don't
mob's
stop.
path too is like kind of crazy because in other games they'll like if you jump out a window, they'll start going out like the actual entrance. In Ashes, they'll just jump out the window with you, like they'll or even just teleport down.
Oh yeah, that mob snapping that they did or added in, so people couldn't just stand on something and free cast or free shoot. They they have that. Yeah, I used to do that in WoW, like for
Yeah,
Mythic Plus stuff to try to snap mobs to a specific spot. But
that
even then, like with how this one is, I mean, that could still be a viable strat to some people if you were able to hold the aggro in one area. But the leashing, like Goalid was saying, is still kind of wonky right now. So you may actually keep those. You may actually they might just up and disappear, fall through the floor, and then you're like 5-10 minutes later, your healer in the back is getting hit in the face.
yeah, that entire premise is like where most of the AoE farming for mages in WoW comes from. Is just like being able to stand on a ledge, then have the mob walk around, and then you jump off the ledge and they start walking to you. Then you jump back up the ledge and they start walking around again. I actually used to farm a dungeon in Classic WoW. Uh, as a shaman, I'd partner with one tank at level 60, and we'd duo a full level 60 dungeon, and that's how we would do the last boss. Is we'd constantly have him just like walk around the curb a bunch that we'd hop up and down.
Mm-hmm. How How do you guys feel about that? Like, it's it's very difficult to say because this I try whenever we're actually doing Carfin runs, when we're doing the death run in Carfin and we're getting ready to jump out the tower. If there's another group on that fourth floor, I've been finding myself trying to either yell out or type really fast, like auto run off the ledge and say, "We're sorry, it's a death run, run." Try to do some type of acknowledgement that we weren't trying to train mobs on people. But that's been kind of a hot topic on our server, like what training mobs is and what it isn't. That's kind of why I even came up with this game, because a lot of it's not even intentional, but because no communication is being done in the moment because you're all stressed and trying not to die and lose your mats or lose freaking time getting back up there. A lot of people don't actually do that. We've got a couple in our guild that do. They try to, but even just giving a heads up, like, "Hey, our cleric's dead. Run." Something like that could definitely help some alleviate some tension up there, even though we're all contesting for mobs.
Um, Unfortunately, Trepid hasn't defined any of this, even though they are calling it griefing. So I think they really should. Um,
Mm.
they're gonna actually ban people for it, and they should, my opinion. Um, but to me, there's like two problems that are there. One is like if you're intentionally griefing someone to keep them from playing and avoiding the PvP systems and the DPS check systems from the tags. I think that is definitely griefing. Should be suspension and then bans if it continues for a player. And I think that's a sort of moderator problem. I think there's another problem where you're accidentally killing people, and they need to make it so that the mobs don't leash because there's healing going on from another group that you run by. That's crazy. They need to fix that. It should only be heals should only impact threat tables if the person you're healing is doing damage to the mob. Number one, um, and then when it's accidental, I feel like it's a good sport thing to like, hey, I'll pay for your guys' damages or whatever for your gear. I'll pay for the gear. I feel like that should become a standard, because it wasn't intentional, but there's still the damage you caused that you should, I think, pay up for. Is my personal view on it, and that should be kind of the culture going forward for Ashes. If this is going to continue, which I don't think it has to necessarily.
I feel like that's a slippery slope, or it can be. I do agree with you that it should be common courtesy to, if it is accidental, you're not meaning to be like, "Hey, either a heads up, and if they do die, like toss a couple silver for the repair costs or something like that." Yeah, like courtesy when you know you're not trying to do stuff. But that, even when you know your group is unintentionally dragging mobs onto people and then you still do that, I still feel like people will feel entitled to that thing and uh will try to milk you for everything you have, essentially, for lack of a better phrase. um and
We just
intentionally try to like sway the masses in why they're right and you're wrong. Like, I can see that being a very diversive thing,
mm,
but I'm still for it being like the standard. Like, I definitely don't mind if I know I messed up. I apologize. Here's some silver. Deuces.
yeah, basically. A
Uh,
lot of times they'll just if they're like fine, they'll just say, hey, just don't do it again.
You never know when you accidentally spark some serious guild drama. There's definitely a lot of people that don't take that stuff very lightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually one of them. Like, we do not like mob trainers. We don't like training mobs on people. We try to be courteous to others. Like, we definitely have a stance on that, and we don't tolerate it at all. Like,
I
there's
feel
some.
like what it really comes down to is the TOS, and we try to abide by it. Um, because the TOS specifically has guidelines against griefing, and that's definitely one form of griefing and is therefore against the TOS and is, in my eyes, about the same as exploiting, uh, which I think is a lot of the reason for our stance around it. But yeah.
Mm,
It's just about every guild with a lot of people in it will potentially have a bad actor. It's just about if the leadership of that guild will punish it or not, or is going to enable griefers in their guild. I think matters, and we do not allow it. I know Pirates doesn't allow it. Federation has told me they've allowed it. They don't allow it, despite the controversies people have had on the server with them. So yeah, I just think that no guild should allow it, and from my experience, a lot of the major guilds on our server say it's not going to be tolerated, which is pretty good. I don't know if that's the case on Vyra. Definitely wasn't the case on Resna when that was the thing. It's constantly heard that that was the main one of the main strategies was just constant mob training. It's just a
mm-hmm.
form of gameplay.
Oh, I specifically remember a guild saying, if you're trying to kill somebody and not go corrupt, just get them really low and then train a wolf on them. Wolf one shots.
Yep.
Collect their stuff. Like that. Oh, man. That just irks me to my core, just hearing that people legit go out of their way to come up with strategies to try to uh, get a leg up, but or at least abuse the system, knowing that it's in that current state, rather than bug reporting those things. I know it gets frustrating to devs, but we end up feeling the brunt of it. But, all right, let's go to the very last one for this game. All right, cleric dies. There's 2 groups nearby and 1 escape route, and those groups are right by that escape route. Is
What are you
that
talking
mob training?
about? Steel Bloom? Yeah, no, that's not mob training. That's at least you know how it is.
If two groups like kite mobs into each other at the same time to leave?
Well, no, there's okay, so the party's cleric dies. There's only one. The party cleric dies. You're already fighting a group and you're having to run, but there's only one escape route out, and there's 2 other groups by that escape route.
Oh,
So,
okay. I thought you said for a second that both groups were about to wipe and they're both like running out at the same time. But I mean, I feel like that's the same thing as like the fourth floor apartment incident. Is you're just like trying to bail and there's a group in your way. And it is what it is. So I feel like there's some times where that happens, and some people definitely think it's intentional at first. Just because they don't see what happened before, they just see you running with a bunch of mobs over to their group.
mhm. Yeah, especially if you don't announce like cleric died, run, or
Yeah, I
help.
mean, if you are running though, you have very little time to type.
Mhm. Yeah, that I feel as though that technically is training. You don't have a choice, but it technically is training. Especially if there's 2 other groups literally by the exit, you do not have a choice. You have to run
Mhm.
by them. Like that it's the death run. It's the death run. What can you say? But that is it for our mini game.
Oh, nice. Did
Heck
I
yeah.
Did I do well?
Yes, both of you did. We did a great job explaining kind of the nuances of what mob training is.
For sure.
Heck yeah, it's one of the things we want to spread awareness to the stuff. So I just came up with a small little mini game for it. But
Oh yeah.
all right.
The mini game. Oh shit. Run.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of give you an idea that there was a mini game, but I didn't want to let you in on like what it was. Well,
Hmm.
it kind of gave it away, but at the same time, like I wanted kind of fresh outlooks or fresh takes. But all right. Let's start with PvP since we already discussed what mob training is. Let's say this is intentional and it's time to retaliate. What is the current state of the world PvP right now? In your opinions?
I think the state of world PvP is like one of the best things of the game right now. I think going corrupt is definitely extremely punishing, and there's really no reason ever to do it unless there's like an extreme vendetta and you know your guildies can help you go uncorrupted after. But even then, it's still a gamble. Uh, with like caravans and stuff, I think it's really, really cool because you can go and PvP someone who's trying to run a caravan because they're trying to make gold and they gotta defend their caravan uh, so that you don't take their gold. And I think that it creates a really cool dynamic where there's all these guilds working together and fighting each other uh, to basically get control of those caravan routes and be able to generate that gold. The only thing I would change is having some zones and some activities auto flag you, such as like doing a world boss, um, or grinding in Carfin. In my opinion, if these things like auto flagged you, especially if you're like doing a raid boss, like if doing damage or healing someone in the group would auto flag you, that would be great. Because it would make it a lot easier for guilds to contest raid bosses from each other, which when this game was being conceptualized was something that we thought would be a little easier than it is now.
Mm, Um, I guess I disagree. I really don't like.
Uh oh. Technical
Yeah, I think
difficulties.
Goalid cut
Can you hear
out.
me? Can you
Yeah,
hear
I
me
can
now?
hear you now.
There we
Okay.
go.
Okay, good. So I definitely have problems right now. I think corruption is way too punishing. I think that it should be a viable strategy to go corrupt over very, very rare resources. Um, I've written a whole post about that on the forums about like when you should go corrupt. I feel like that should be part of the gameplay. I feel like people gatherers are way too relaxed out in the open world when they're having legendary materials on them. Bluebells, raptors, and I think that you really should be able to kill someone and have a reasonable chance to go hide and grind that corruption off. As I recall, bounty hunters were supposed to be the only ones who had corrupt players pop up on the map and find them in that manner. Right now, they pop up to everyone. Um,
Yeah, I
it could
remember
be,
that being a concept as well, the whole bounty hunting thing. I've kind of forgot about that since watching like some of the original pitches of the game.
Hmm.
yeah. So I feel like it should be more. The PvP should be flowing a bit more than it is right now.
I agree. There's it seems like at end game right now is when people are PvPing the most. You don't really see a whole lot uh between like level 5 to 15. And even then, like I feel like that's when you should at least see an influx of it. Like all of it's either centered around caravans when we're trying to get some money. It's around the high end grind spots when you're contesting, uh, um, things of that nature, or even the guild wars right now. And even then, we haven't have we actually had one on yet?
This
What
phase,
didn't
no.
Pirates have one? Pirates flagged or went to war with somebody on server.
Federation declared war
Yeah.
on pirates.
Mm. Yeah, like I think that's the extent of what it is. Yeah, okay. Federation is decked on pirates. I'm being told. So that's literally the extent of what we have right now outside of caravan stuff. I would really like to see more PvP stuff added in game. Like even the amount of exploration that we have done with these systems that we have right now, it's we're finding new things every day, literally. Like I believe the newest thing with caravans right now, I believe I was told this a second ago. Um yeah, it's whenever you destroy a caravan, uh like the flagging system, whenever you have a caravan, you choose to either attack or defend it. If you are on the attacker side and you destroy a caravan, uh, it gives you the pop up that, hey, victory, you destroyed the caravan. Now you have to resummon yours or have a recall beacon to pick it up. But then the person who lost their caravan can literally just run up and snag their stuff and not be flagged, which is really bad right now.
Yeah. We're learning a lot of stuff in the game that they're gonna have to adjust. So there are things like that right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is definitely unfortunate. I think a couple of our guys have lost a couple different caravan things. They just literally pull out a caravan, then the person whose caravan they killed runs up, crowbars everything that they have, and we lose out on that stuff, which is highly unfortunate. Like God, there should be at least, I feel as though there should be either a timer on it or they're continuously flagged until those resources are gathered. And even then, like whenever you pick up ashes off of somebody else's body, if it's not your own body, it instantly flags you as a combatant. That sort of thing. As long as they're still flagged in that area or during that event, I think it would kind of level the playing field. But that still needs to be fixed big time. But I'm looking forward to some arenas. I'm interested in seeing how they do that. I don't think it'll be in this iteration. When was that supposed to be added in?
Is it supposed to be added in? I don't think
Yeah,
it's on the
arenas.
red map.
Hold on, let me see. I believe I
Dueling's
have
supposed
the
to be in
roadmap.
phase 3.
I believe I have the phase 2 roadmap. Hold on, let me see here. Yes, I do. Okay, wonderful. Let me get rid of the mini game. Here we go. Oh, that is really hard to see.
Yeah, you might want to make it a bit bigger. Some of the
Oh,
letters aren't quite rendering right.
You're
Yeah, they're not
scaring me.
rendering at all.
Well, no, I've got a full screen zooming in. You can kind of see it.
Zoom in and kind of see it.
I'll just read it out for the audience.
Awesome.
Okay, there are I don't see any arenas
Holy
on
shit.
here. I don't see any arenas on here.
Is that a
Mr.
phase 3 thing?
Anubis. I'm telling you, I don't think it's even listed on the Phase 3 thing. I think it just
Yeah, I
says
don't
Duel
remember
Link.
seeing that in the Phase 3, and I've read the Phase 2 and Phase 3 features quite a few times.
I know it's a planned thing. I don't know. They've talked about it a couple different times. I've read it. I know for a fact I've read it on the wiki. I'm not crazy, guys. I swear. Um, but
Well, I think it's there. It's just not planned for the foreseeable future.
well, even then, like
And
if they
naval
added,
combat is coming in Phase 3, though, so that's pretty hype.
I think
excited
they
for that
need
too. Shipbuilding,
we need to get Phase 2 stuff done.
true. There are a
Yeah,
couple
they still
things
have
that.
to.
Go ahead.
They have yet to showcase the rogue. Like that's pretty saucy that they haven't even shown the rogue off, and yet like they're supposed to release it within like a month or two here.
I get the
Yeah.
feeling we'll start seeing it on PTR next week for sure. We'll start seeing some
Hopefully,
things
I
on
mean,
that.
if we
You got
don't see it by the end of January, it's like, where is the rogue, Steven?
you're gonna make it. Well, you're the one who put this up here, so now you can let the Doomer Goalid side come out. Okay, Vanguard Tropics expanded. Have they really been expanded? Is it?
Yeah,
No,
the
he
tropics
he
is the
stated
same.
he stated that the tropics. I think it was the last video. The tropics was going to be needing more love, and that would be coming soon. But
Okay.
they focused more on the desert nodes and getting those 3 nodes up and running. But even then,
So soon
I'm
trademark. Soon TM.
yeah, like I'm not even. Oh, friggin' what is it? The one that starts with an A is literally just mirror left turned at an angle. There's nothing.
IFNR?
Yeah,
Transparent?
there's nothing about these nodes that screams unique. They're just recolors and like rezoned things. A lot of the mobs are in the exact same place that are in mirror left. There's a lot of the same types out there, minus wolves. They trade out wolves for freaking scorpions and the little rock guys. There's mushrooms in the desert. What sense does that make if there's not a dead body? And even then, I've never seen a mushroom grow in the desert.
They
But
need to implement these 2 new unique node layouts they have right here. Um, be added to the desert.
mhm.
Like, that's what they need to do. Then we don't
It's
have the vassal ship, the siege, no death. Did we got some more commissions though, right? Where's
I
Clover?
believe so. I was talking to Clover about it earlier. I believe we got a couple new commissions, but not a whole lot of them. I think she was saying there's the problem is we don't have the buildings for it. If my understanding is correct on that. She was telling me something about since we don't have the buildings, we don't have the commissions for those buildings. And since we're
Yeah.
only a level 4 node, well, it's kind of more the same from last year. Well, I can actually say that now and it actually be relevant. Cool. But there's still a lot of the things that they were saying that were supposed to come out on launch of 20 is being pushed back. And I'm pretty sure it's due to a lot of the bugs that we found on launch. Like there were so many things just with the launcher itself, people getting in, rendering issues, and they still haven't fixed the in-game render thing. That's nuts. Just running in a straight line, and then magically you have 5 wolves pop up on your body, and you don't even know where they came from. You never saw them.
Yeah. We don't have to go through this entire thing.
No, 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 no. I was just putting this up as a reference point, really, because
Yeah.
I thought Arenas was on this one, but apparently it is not. I just remember reading it then. So, well, wishful thinking. But if they did add like a mock Garra type of dueling system in this game, whole baby. Oh
Like
baby.
one where you can delete someone else's character
Oh
through it.
man. Oh man.
That shouldn't be in. People
Or
are
that
gonna
should
get
never be
baited.
in the game.
They'll
So
get
many people
baited.
would get baited into accidentally doing that, and there would be like bugs where people accidentally kill their own characters. Like that would be terrible.
Permadeath duels. That is definitely hardcore server type activities.
I mean, I feel like that would just be too punishing in a game like this, where especially at like level 50, given how much time it's supposed to take to level up to level 50. It's like supposed to be 3 times longer than reaching the max level in Classic WoW, and the leveling in Classic WoW is still slow as shit. So that really says something.
Hey, I mean, it could be punishing or it can literally be a reward. Depends on which side you're on.
Yep.
If you, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of pushing it a little bit here, but I think the permadeath part would probably not be a thing unless it is a hardcore server. But uh, having more significant XP debt, maybe on duels, like depending on the level of duel, I guess. If they had maybe different types of duels, like I'm challenge you just to a friendly spar, which is essentially a duel, and the first one that reaches like 1% of their health, or one, literally one, and duel's over. Or the next upgrade was duel to the death, and then you suffer XP debt for dying in that duel. But you still keep character and stuff like that. But you do
You,
drop stuff.
I
you
think it
should.
would be better if they made it so in the higher stakes duel you drop all your gear. That would be a lot bigger incentive for players to do it because they can control the gear they go in with as well. And it would be like kind of like the in RuneScape how some people would like PK each other like with consent, and they'd both have like the same exact gear type on, and like both have like Dorax hammers, and whichever one KOs the other person first gets to keep their gear. Something like that could be pretty cool.
Hmm. I like that
Yeah.
idea too. All right. Oh man, I done lost my notes here. Man, I am just all over the place today. All right. Well,
You're fine.
with PvP, um, how about we talk about the upcoming rogue? I mean, it's been brought up a couple different times.
Yeah.
How do we feel about these rogue abilities? Like the PvP wise, I feel like we need more information on how adrenaline works, but it seems like these abilities are going to be pretty cool.
You
It
mean advantage?
reminds me a lot of some other games, but yeah, it's very classic Rogue.
Yeah. I'm super excited to see poison in action. I think we desperately need that in the game. Anti heals are going to be required for dealing with healers. Does
Oh,
that scare you,
100%.
Spud? That scare you? The poison?
As long as it's not the Carfin poison, that's all fine.
I feel like if Carpet Poison was intended, it was supposed to be a rogue poison, you know? Like,
If that's just how it's supposed to work, like that's just the most difficult punishing game mechanic like ever. That's just insane. Like it just needs to be dispelled immediately, or like it just fucks everything. Because
nah,
imagine in like a big like raid, like with PvP wise, like the healers aren't thinking like, oh man, maybe he just got poisoned by a rogue. I better check real quick. When you're fighting like 30 people, they're just spamming AoE heals. Like they're not going to notice until that person's dead, and then they're like, whoa, why'd they die?
yeah, I highly doubt it's going to be like that. I was literally just memeing on that one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that would be absolutely freaking devastating, especially if they had anything involving like AoE poison. And you have a group that has that same debuff on it, and then you cast your little circle Healy thing and literally blow up an entire
Mhm.
group. That would be devastating. But I'm kind of excited to see how stealth is going to work because the ranger, excuse me, the ranger camouflage is so buggy right now. It's either it works or it doesn't. It'll either be a visual bug on your part or a visual bug on their part to where they can still see you. And even then, your clothes still are visible. Your body's just gone. You can still see your weapon. You have to sit down. And even then, you're still not guaranteed to not be seen. I've been kind of just treating it like you can't target me. I can move freely. Hopefully, you just can't target me or notice me yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rogue Ranger or Rogue True Stealth is 100% going to be insane. I'm excited to see how that True Stealth works out.
Yeah, agreed.
You think you're going to be a pretty good contender from what we're seeing here, Goalid, in some 1v1s against rogues?
No, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. But if I get some more practice in the game, I feel like that. Um, mages will have. I think that's a toss up. Mages and rogues. I want to see how they play each other. Magi works on rangers, camouflage. I wonder if you could spec into it working on rogues as well, or if that's supposed to be for rangers to spot rogues. There's
Rogue
any
and
mechanic.
mages are always a very iconic matchup, just because they're typically both very glass cannony,
Yeah,
and both have a decent bit of like CC and movement abilities.
it'll be fun.
Oh yeah. I feel like they count or will be a counter to each other. Like playing against even bards or mages, tanks, whatever, what have you, and it feels a lot like a rock paper scissors game. Uh, in the case for rogues is if you spot the rogue first. In case of mages against or rogues against mages, you have to get the CC off before they or after they get their what is it, the little sight thing off, because you're only able to go into stealth whenever you're what does it say, 20 meters away from your target. So that's pretty close. The mage, oh, what is it, that mage eye thing, I think it's also 20 meters, isn't it?
For
Oh,
what?
the mage eye.
Yeah, I think it's 30.
Is
Um, let's look it up really fast. Yeah, I don't actually remember.
Yeah, it's something like that. Like it's, you would have to, the way this is reading, you would have to get stupidly close because 20 meters is not that far away. You can blink farther than that. Uh, but you have to be that close just to be in stealth, and it's not guaranteed. It doesn't even say how long stealth will last, or if it's permanent, or can you just sit in stealth like you can camouflage. Like there's so many unknowns with that. I I wonder if even Magi is going to pick up things like that. Will it be bugged on release?
Yeah,
Because
it's
there's
20. It's 20 meters. Yeah, you're right.
oh, okay, yeah. Well, you have to get into 20 meters, and Mage thing is 20 meters. So I feel like that's like you are essentially in this rock papers game are supposed to be the rock versus the scissors, because if they sap you or stun you, blink away, or at least that's what it's supposed to do. Does it work yet?
No, it never works. Blink never breaks CC. It's so frustrating.
How's it supposed to? How's it supposed to?
Supposed to
Or
be able
what
to
is the
break it.
intended function?
I can break it. I'm supposed to be able to break roots, and then I'm supposed to break any CC if I spec into it. But if you spec into it with an extra point, it does not work. So you cannot break sleep or any other hard CC.
Oof. At least whenever they actually get that up and running, if you do get stun locked, that's a blink away, a sleep, just about anything to CC the hell out of a rogue. How do you see you faring against it, Spud, being a cleric?
It depends how rogue's damage is. A very geared rogue could definitely just totally decimate a cleric, because if they stun them and just do high enough damage, like there's not really any healing that we can do to counter that. We're just dead, and like we're extremely squishy because most of us wear light armor as well. So I wouldn't foresee a cleric doing very well against a rogue, just from their typical potential to absolutely one shot you in like a one combo if they have good gear.
Mm. How do you think they should balance that? Because I'm being told that they also have a silence, so that just makes it even worse. No escape for mages now. Like, how do we feel the
Yeah, that'd be
balance
very
for
bad for
that?
clerics as well, that silence. It's
Yeah.
only for 1 second though.
Is
So you have
it?
advantage, and then it's longer than
Yeah,
that.
if you're already dazed, it's 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh man, Ranger Rogue, Ranger
Oh
with
wait,
the concussive shots.
it's only if you have advantage that it's for 5 seconds, which means that it's stealth.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I want to know how advantage works. If it works like the fighter uh rage mechanic, or if it works like the clerics what is it, that your secondary resource. And we don't, yeah, you make a point, good point, Goltes. We don't know what else gives advantage. I think a lot of this reads if you have advantage or consumes advantage. Yeah, lacerate consumes advantage. Uh, let me see. 1 second. Then apply days if you have the advantage. Instead,
Health
apply
gain.
silence. Consumes advantage for backstab. So it does. It still sounds like a resource, but it's not saying how you build it outside of being in stealth. So is it the longer you're in stealth, the more advantage you have, and you just blow your load all over an unsuspecting person? Wow, that sounded weird.
It's no problem, bro.
Yep, I'm leaving it in. Hmm. We got, come on, Intrepid, please get this in our hands. Let us finally see the light on things. But they have to bring in daggers too at the same time. There's no shot that they don't bring rogue in and daggers at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd assume that.
But
That'd be pretty crazy.
yeah. All right. So it is time for the streamer drama.
What kind of streamer drama are you talking about? Narc
Which
or?
ones?
We actually have two different things. We have the Narc and AOC drama where he is no longer going to be streaming uh Ashes of Creation content.
For about like
And
a month, probably.
that's what I'm assuming too. Like he'll see
Yeah, I feel
something
like
new and
there's
shiny.
I feel like we can expect multiple why I'm quitting Ashes of Creation videos out of Narc throughout the span of this game.
I would. Oh, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Like whenever we had interactions with him, I think Goalid, you had the most interaction out of him. How did he seem to you?
I mean, I'm not gonna go into my private interactions, my DMs with him,
No, no,
but I
no.
mean, I'll just say that he just seemed to me like someone who is a big fan of the game, the concept of the game, but is a little exhausted from covering this game for several years through the hardest times to be a hardcore fan for Ashes. And then I understand it, like people thought there'd be way more at the start of Alpha 2 than they got. I think very reasonably so. And that's okay. And once you're over that hump, just depends if you're burnt out or not. I took a whole break from Ashes for about a year, I think from 2022 to 2023 or something. So I am not at that point where the lack of content that I was expecting is going to be a huge deal to me. And I'm having a lot of fun with the game right now. But for him, who's been covering it nonstop for so many years, I'm assuming that's pretty tiresome, essentially.
Mm,
And just gets it's death by a thousand cuts, essentially. But I think he'll
mm.
be back for phase 3 or in the future, depending on what we get.
I would think he'd be back. Like, well, from my understanding of the video he had, he mentioned that he would be branching out from a lot of different things. I don't think he'll be all off into AOC content. I think he'll be like more like a variety streamer and whatnot. But I mean, through that video, he had some points in there that did make a lot of sense. Like some certain things. I was even surprised that he was so adamant on and calling like things that he quote unquote predicted back in 2023 that is kind of coming to light, especially involving the key packs, the Alpha 2 phase packs. Apparently, he predicted that too. And like how that was gonna go, but
I think a
um,
lot of people predicted that, and that one,
yeah,
that one. I mean, they did it in Alpha 1. It's hard not to see it coming from a mile away.
yeah.
Man.
It seems like Steven did get involved as well. I didn't even go through the comments when I watched it. I kind of glanced over it a little bit. I was playing freaking Marvel Rivals at the same time while I was watching it, but um, I think the point of like the expectation on how the desert was going to be, knowing how the showcase was, like I get it, but at the same time, I'm seeing there's a huge difference in like transition. Like whenever they transition from UA4 or UE4 to UE5, a lot of things ended up coming out a little bit slower, and the showcases are a whole lot different. Like they moved from just having videos of stuff to actually being in game and showcasing things. But I'm still waiting on that Snorse, man. I've been looking for it.
They can just keep that out of the game forever.
You don't want the snail horse?
No, I don't.
The horse was like,
I think it's so stupid. I hate it.
I want the snail horse. Okay, it's majestic.
I hope you move 1 mile per hour on it.
I hope it trots when it's on its legs. Try,
what do you think about the streamer drama Spud? Uh, Integral to the game, totally unimportant.
I feel like drama in this game is just like deeply rooted to where the game is designed to create drama within the game, and then the devs' decisions also create drama outside the game. Uh, and it's a lot of fun, a lot of good entertainment value. I think, and a lot of overtime hours for Steven to work replying to all the videos.
Yeah.
very true. And it's, I mean, he's always said it's encouraged. Like they encourage those types of conflicts, which
Yeah, they want to make systems that will create people that hate each other.
Uh,
very true.
and games like that, some of them are pretty niche, but they're great. I know plenty of board games like that where you just hate each other when you exit it, but you really want to play another game of that board game.
Uh, if this, if Ashes was an actual board game, what would you compare it to? I
It's hard.
say Uno.
No,
Yeah, I say
Uh, I'd
Uno.
say uh, I'd say Battleship because when you're trying to fight your enemy, you're kind of just going to random locations of the map and hoping they will be there.
Mm.
I'd say Risk.
Mm. I say Uno because of the day to day things. Like, it's all fun and games until you get hit with a draw four, okay? And then everybody else has a draw four because, like, hey, I'm not going out like that. But then you also have another draw four, and then somebody always has to lose, and they don't like it, and then they're pissed at you for the rest of the game.
I always
Frenemies.
feel like the first person that's about to go out in Uno always loses just because there's always people around them just waiting for that, so they can just hit them with all the draw cards, and all of a sudden they have like 15 cards in their hand.
Exactly. Yes, it is. It's a risk. You think you know people. That's why there's spies out here. You really think you know people, and then out of nowhere they blindside you.
Cookenstein, I don't know if this game's like Catan, because this game has actual strategy, so
Yeah. All right. Well, the other piece of drama that we have on our server is the Federation and Pirates drama. I think we were expecting some wars to break out today. Am I right in that assessment? I was expecting pirates to retaliate in force.
They apparently talked a little bit, but we'll see. They
Mm.
seem to want the conflict with each other.
Do
All
you
the more
care
power to
to
them.
say the thing, the reason why I had brought that up? I know I don't have full information on it. I just know Federation and pirates have been at each other's throats, and then I've been hearing rumors of wars.
You don't know the reason behind it?
Not the full reason though.
Okay, so as I understand it, I could be wrong, but the problem was that Federation declared war on one of their officer guilds, essentially. But they weren't online, so people in Pirates felt jaded by that because what was it, New Year's Day or something? They declared war on that, so I thought that was BS. Other people were like, "Well, when are you supposed to declare war?" So there was that, and then after they won that war, Federation declared fishing a deadly fishing contest on them, or a lumberjacking contest, I think it was. Um, which is um people have been calling it an exploit on Vira because it gives you these rewards from it that you get rewards from it, and the other side can't always respond very well because the tree cutting contest can, for example, be in New Ayla. You declare it on a guild in the desert. What are you supposed to do? Like, so you will lose the war, like 250 to 0, and then you get the other side gets a bunch of rewards from it, essentially. Um, so I've heard that that wasn't appreciated very well, but they've talked some of it out apparently. Um, so good for them. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see when the sieges come online and the node wars come online. What happens? Because I'd love to do some of that ourselves too. It doesn't even have to be drama based or whatever. Although I don't. I mean, they're just playing the game, right? Like we're all just warring each other.
Mm-hmm.
Join the PvP. So
Oh,
there's the T, as I understand it from Global.
all
Yeah,
right.
I feel like the deadly fishing wars are some of the most meme things I've ever seen. Like when I was told that Dynasty declared a fishing war on us, I was like so confused for like half that day.
Like, what happened?
Dynasty when they declared a fishing war on us
Oh yeah,
in
yeah,
Marilith, like in the middle of Marilith, they declared death by fishing war.
yeah. They tried.
That's all sorts of bugged.
There's a lot of things that are being used as exploits that it seems like I'm pretty sure if we saw the devs backlog on bug reports, if they have them all listed and stuff, they probably look at that and just immediately get tired. There's so many bugs with all kinds of systems. I think literally every system is bugged right now. But
Literally.
yeah, but they've we still gotta tip our hats to them. They've been doing an amazing job with keeping up with a lot of the stuff we've been reporting.
Yeah.
Like they for real, like an amazing job with that stuff. But do we plan on doing some PvP shenanigans?
No,
Oh,
never.
Yeah, no, we would
oh.
never declare war on another guild or steal their caravans and like take all their cargo. Uh, we would never do that.
No, no, that doesn't sound like us. We don't sound like we would do that. We're a nice guild.
We are pacifists, actually. Um, I think in the next guild meeting we'll have to discuss extending our pacifism to the NPCs as well, to not murder them as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
the
can no
NPC guilds.
longer gank the zombies. They have to flag
Exactly.
up.
Exactly.
I think the Thaumaturges at Carfin Tower were always flagging on us.
Mm.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to some things happening in the future, but till then, I guess we're just playing nice with everybody. Yay, kumbaya, sprinkles and rainbows for everybody.
I don't feel like we've done that. I don't think that's a very accurate description.
No, we've had some pretty good interactions with different people.
Yeah.
But
All in good fun.
oh yeah, that's it. But congratulations, guys, we have made it through the podcast. Oh, freaking episode 1 in the books. In the books. On top of that, we actually have it recorded. So we don't have to
Yep.
worry about the extra stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. For closing at a nice 2-hour mark too. That's pretty nice.
Amazing. Yep. I did friggin' put in work with all this stuff, dude. But we absolutely promise every time you see our stream, guys, it will get better and better. We're constantly adding new things. and fixing bugs on our part. But it would behoove me to plug our guild. Our guild is Overlord. We are recruiting for all different kinds of players, whether that be economy focused or if it is PvP focused. We are recruiting literally all walks of life. But oh shoot, I didn't even really introduce myself, but it is what it is. My name is Anubis, and I also stream on Twitch. You can follow me at OL_Anubis. Yeah, I have been so busy I keep forgetting to fix different videos I've been wanting to put on YouTube, which is also the same OL_Anubis. But yeah, guys, tell them where they can find your content.
So my channels are named Bud Name Spud, both on Twitch and YouTube. I'm actually putting a link in down below that has all of our links to our channels and stuff. Looks like Nightbot actually did that already. Um, but yeah, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube. I upload some videos sometimes. I have a pretty good video from us fighting Dynasty in Marilith there right now. And yeah.
Heck yeah.
And I'm Goalid. You can see me raging on the forums every now and then some esoteric topic, and I might be making some video essays in the future to accompany my posts. Specifically, I want to make a huge caravan post, so you may see that in the future. I don't have a link for you. You'll have to type in Goalid one day in the future. Well, now I'll give a link in the future on this podcast for it. It'll be fun.
Awesome. Remember, guys, we do have the Discord link in chat right now. If this is your first time watching our stream, if this is your first time watching our podcast, we thank you for coming in and joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon for notifications. That way you know whenever we drop new videos. Be on the lookout for some more not world first, but more server first right now. As we start to level and do more stuff. But thank you guys for coming, and we appreciate you all. Y'all have an amazing day.